Who wants to talk about video games? I
Uh,
played some of them.
yeah, I could talk about some video games, I
Yeah.
suppose. Yeah.
How
Well, I
many
mean, if you're
things have
both
people
doing it,
played?
I'll pitch in if you think it'll
Yeah,
help.
yeah.
Yeah, we can all have a go. Who
Yeah.
wants to go first?
I'll jump in. Why
Okay.
not?
All right.
I played a game last week. I can finally talk about it this week, and I've been kind of excited to talk about it. I played Viewfinder. Are either of you aware of
Okay.
this game?
This is the
No.
classic 80s toy where you hold it up to your face and it's got those reels of
Oh my
photographs.
god! Mate,
Yeah.
we had a Terminator 2 one of that. It was Robert Patrick going into the helicopter and then turning into the helicopter man. Sorry,
Nice.
please tell us about Viewfinder.
Yeah, so this shares a name with that, but it's not that. This is, I think I might have talked about the demo of this a couple of weeks ago. This is a puzzle game about photos. The premise is you have a photo in your hand, you hold it up so it sort of looks like it's in 3D space with you, and you press a button to go, that's where I want it. And the 3D interior of that photo is now sharing 3D space where you placed it. And that is used for many different purposes. It might be things like, there is an item I need and it's in the photo, so I'm going to place the photo over there and then walk inside of it and go get the item from it. It could be that, the teleporter I need to get out of this level is upside down on the ceiling, so I'll take a photo, turn the photo upside down, place it so it sort of lines up with the path I'm on, and then walk onto it and it's the right way up and I can go get to the teleporter. It might be, there's a thing I need and I need to get it into, like, that cage over there. I'll put the photo up on the ceiling and then that thing will, gravity will make the item fall out of the photo downwards into where I want it to be. It's one of those puzzle games that, like, it has one core mechanic and it does a honestly fucking fantastic job of iterating on its core mechanic really well. It's one of those mechanics that you see it done, you look at it and go, I understand entirely what this is. And for a game with, like, that central of a singular mechanic, I want to iterate to anyone who's, like, curious about this game and looks up trailers. It feels really fucking good to engage with its core mechanic of just placing a photo and now it's here in 3D space. There is no delay, like no confirmation when you press the button. It's just, that was a photo, and now if I move slightly to the side, it's in 3D space. And the number of ways that is used to really interesting effect is really impressive. It's not a hugely lengthy game. It is, maybe a couple of sittings to play through it. It feels like it is exactly the sort of length it should be, in that no one idea outstays its welcome, and the game never feels like it sticks around long enough to be floundering for things to do with its mechanics. It feels very comparable to something like Portal, in terms of the skill with which it executes on basically the entire game being a slow, gradual tutorial, but in a way that you don't really notice until you stop to think about it. There's a lot of, like, elements of this game's early pacing that I can one-to-one mirror to how Portal teaches its mechanics, in that sense of, like, if you think back to the original Portal, initially, there are portals that you can't control their position, you go through them, you learn what a portal is. Then you get to interact with portals that move, and you're not moving where they are, but you understand that they can move and how that works. Then you eventually get the portal gun and can shoot one colour of portal, but one colour static. And then finally you have, access to the full suite of portals you can throw around. This does something very similar. You start with, here is just a photo someone else took that you can use to solve the puzzle. Then, here is a static camera that you can use to take photos of one set position. Use that to solve your problems. Then, you finally have a camera yourself, and then, mechanics sort of spiral on from there. I'm really impressed at the pacing of difficulty in this game. Me and Jane played through this together over a couple of days, and there was maybe 2 times where we reached a puzzle and, like, not for hugely long, maybe 20 minutes, we got stuck on a puzzle and we eventually worked out what to do, and both those times when we eventually found worked out what the solution was, we went, oh my god, of course that's fucking it. Like, we were never annoyed at the game, it was never the game poorly designed this puzzle, it was, we didn't take that lateral thinking step, one step to the left to go, oh, of course we can do that. We always felt that is the perfect, sensible solution to that puzzle that we just didn't see. The game's narrative, I really thought was pretty impressive. Without giving too much away, it is set in a world that is kind of going to shit, and you are digging around in a virtual space that might have some answers about what to do about this world that's going to shit. And it does a great job of, gradually giving you little bits of environmental storytelling over time that don't feel like they're intruding and getting in the way of if you just want to get on with doing the interesting puzzle stuff. Also, best mechanic of the game if you play it on PS5. This is the first time in a long time I've wanted to talk about fancy rumble in the PS5 controller. There is a cat in the game, and if you pet the cat and then stand around for a bit, your controller starts purring, and they have done a fucking fantastic job of emulating the feeling of a cat purring inside a controller. So that's bonus points right there. That's bonus points.
I'm like a sucker for... I've talked about it before, gimmicky stuff with controllers. I used to love the light bar on the thing, or I like the speakers on the Wii remote that the DualShock ended up. And I do like that rumble stuff, but it's not used enough in a good way. That is such a nice little gimmick. I love that.
It's such a minor thing, but it's genuinely so well executed that I have to mention it. I don't want to say too much more about this game because so much of what is interesting about it is discovery of its mechanics as it goes. But I think the big thing to note is, I was very impressed at how well this game was able to introduce new ideas that didn't take away from the core of, the first mechanic it introduces, even at times where the game's progression will break the rules it has established or create situations where the rules are antithetical to how they started. They managed to make even that feel like a logical part of progression through its mechanics. It is one of the most, cleanly made puzzle games I've played in a while. I think it is absolutely a fantastic puzzle experience if you like your first-person puzzle things. I had a little bit of motion sickness issues with it. I sometimes have this with first-person games. Thankfully, there is a field of view slider that did help somewhat. There is a demo, if you're someone who struggles with motion sickness, to see whether the field of view slider is going to be enough to help you with that. But, Viewfinder, really, really solid puzzle game. If you like your Portal style, here is one mechanic and one device, and we just kind of iterate on it. This is a really fucking good one of those.
That sounds good. I'm still stuck on the purring controller. That's what sold me.
The thing that makes that purring controller great is how Jane encountered that mechanic exists, and I think it is the perfect reason for something stupid like this to happen, is Jane goes and pets the cat, then puts the controller down but doesn't pause because me and Jane, we're pondering the puzzle. We're stuck on a puzzle, pondering it, looking around, not really doing anything, just trying to take it in. That's when the purring starts. That's exactly when you need a calming purr coming out your controller. When you're like, I'm standing around because I'm not sure what to do. Oh, okay, no, this does make me feel better about the fact that I'm a dumbass for a minute.